Cinnamon Whiskey Carnitas. Check it out. Two and a half pounds of carnitas pork. Have about 2.5 pounds of carnitas pork here. I brown it in the skillet with some olive oil, a teaspoon of sea salt, and a teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper. Brown up the carnitas for about 3 minutes on each side, I guess. 2.5, 3 minutes on each side. And then I'll throw that in the crock pot with the rest of the stuff. Show you what I got going. All right, in here I've got 1 whole yellow onion chopped up. I've got 3 medium-sized red potatoes, about 1.5 cups of baby carrots. I've got 4 cloves of garlic chopped. I've got a teaspoon of crushed red pepper and another teaspoon of sea salt. And 1/2 cup of brandy. About 1.5 ounces of sriracha jam. About 2 tablespoons of butter. I'll put in about 1/2 cup of organic half and half. And 1 shot of, I buy these little bottles at Bevmo. It's the Sinfire Cinnamon Whiskey. I put 1 of the 1.7 ounce bottles in as well. I also put in about 1/2 cup of chopped mushrooms. All right, throw the pork medallions, the carnitas medallions in. Give it a good stir. Mix in all the vegetables real good. And then I'll pour the cinnamon whiskey over the top. All right, get that in there. All right, so after you give it a good stir, just put the lid on the crock pot, run it on high. I'll do it on high for the first 4 hours. And I've got my kilowatt meter plugged in. You can see it uses 240, about 250 watts to run it on high. I'll do that for the first 4 hours. After 4 hours, I'll put it on low and let it run on low for about 3 to 4 hours. What I do is I'll stir it for about just a couple of minutes, stir everything really good every hour. All right, so obviously if you have solar in your RV, a couple 100 watts of solar, 200-300 watts of solar, you can run this during the day and, you know, run this crock pot on high. It uses about 250 watts on high. When it's on low, it uses a little under 200 watts. So you can definitely do this off-grid boondocking. It's you know, enough to make probably about 4 or 5 meals for a single person, or if you're you know, a couple, you get a few meals out of it. So makes quite a bit. Super simple. And I'll after this is cooked for a few hours, and I'm doing a stir about halfway through, when I lower the temperature, I'll get back with you guys, show you what it's looking like. All right, so crock pot on low, and we're about 180 watts. About 1.49 amps. And when it's running on high, we're at about 2 amps, just a little over 2 amps. Just gave that a little stir. Man, it smells so good. It's been in there for about 3 hours. I turned it down to low. I'm gonna let that go for about probably another 4 hours. We're using 183 watts and 1.5 amps. It's been in for maybe about 4 hours now. Give that a good stir. The pork medallions are starting to fall apart. So we're getting, I think which I just splashed it everywhere. Temperature's up at about 155 degrees. It's still on low. About 166. pretty tender. I mean, you can cut that with a fork. Try a little bit. Oh, that's good. So good. And these guys are like, give me some. No. All right. Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's so good. Is that really good, buddy? Yeah. Willow wants a bite. Want a bite, Willow? Oh yeah. Good stuff, huh? So, it's got to be my favorite crock pot stew I've ever had. Can you tell?